What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel Anime Fiction. I am back with a new episode of What If Madara Was Sealed Inside Naruto Part 6. And if you did enjoy the video, like this video for the next part. And if you're new to my channel, like my content, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more crossover fictions. Now let's begin this new video.
Chapter 11 Naruto smiled in sheer delight as he walked towards Kurama. The two high-fived each other, both still with huge smiles on their faces. There were no words to describe how happy Naruto felt. It was as if a child had just been reunited with his parents. "You really got me worried, idiot." Naruto tried to sound serious, but couldn't. Kurama continued to smile. "I can imagine. You seem to be doing well," Kurama said nonchalantly. Naruto chuckled before quickly sitting down on the ground, looking at Kurama with an expectant gaze. "Explain yourself," he simply said. Kurama sighed as the smile faded from his face. Now a serious expression took its place. He owed Naruto an explanation of everything that had happened. Even though Kurama didn't fully understand the situation, he tried to explain everything as best he could. "Now, before you start asking me stupid questions," Kurama said, raising a paw. "No, I don't know how we got here. However, what I do know is that Itachi was absolutely right in everything he told you. Our world is gone, and there is no turning back." Naruto felt that familiar pang in his heart again. The fact that all his world was gone more than he expected. He felt he failed everyone. He couldn't even stop the infinite Tsukuyomi. Well, at least they were all dead, experiencing their deepest desires and dreams. However, this didn't comfort Naruto. He nodded to Kurama, gesturing for him to continue. "You know that the Biju don't really die, right?" Kurama asked. Naruto nodded in confirmation. "Yes, you are just walking around masses of chakra. If they destroy you, you will simply reform," Naruto said. Kurama nodded, a small smile playing on his lips. He was happy to see that the boy had become a little smarter. It would give him less trouble. "So basically, I almost died inside you." Naruto blinked only a few times before confusion crept over his face. "Are you dead inside me? How the hell does that work?" Naruto asked incredulously. "You can only die when I die, right? And you don't really look dead to me." Kurama sighed, and he thought that explaining all this would not be problematic. "I don't know how this is supposed to work. But what I do know is that my chakra is now reforming. That's why you can't use it," Kurama explained. Naruto made an "ah" sound, realizing the situation. "So, how long will it take for your chakra to fully reform?" Naruto asked. While the Sharingan was an incredibly beautiful addition to his arsenal, Naruto had yet to master it and was more familiar with its Jinchuriki powers. He would certainly make things a lot easier if he had access to Kurama's chakra again. "Varies. It can take weeks, months, years. Perhaps the process is disturbed by the fact that we are in a different world. I have absolutely no idea," Kurama said with a shrug. Naruto frowned in response. "What you're trying to say is that you don't have any chakra right now?" Kurama sighed and shook his head. "No, I didn't say anything like that. While it's still reforming, I already have some chakra. If you use it, you'll be able to climb into your form with your tail, but if you use my chakra while it's still reforming, the process will slow down. However, the other Biju's chakra is completely gone, so you can no longer enter Sage of the Six Paths mode," Kurama explained. This time it was Naruto's turn to sigh. He needed to at least be able to access his four-tailed form to get some sort of boost, and even losing his Six Paths powers was a huge setback. "So, I guess I'll have to avoid using your chakra for now," concluded Naruto. "Why didn't you approach me sooner?" "That's because your mindscape was busy during the moments I wanted to talk to you," Kurama said. Naruto's eyes widened. This was no good. Had Kurama noticed Madara's presence? Naruto chuckled as he scratched his head. "Oh really? What could have done that?" Kurama narrowed his eyes. "Don't play stupid with me, Naruto. I know Madara is here." Naruto sighed before placing his hand on Kurama's paw. "Look, Madara wasn't the nicest guy, I know. But now it's completely harmless and has only helped me so far. So please Kurama, I'm asking you as a friend. Can you stand Madara?" Naruto asked pleadingly. Kurama looked away with what looked like a frown on his face. "Well, the closest thing a fox can get to a frown. I just want to be clear. I don't like Madara. Also, I don't like the fact that you have those damn eyes now, but I guess I can live with that," Kurama muttered. Naruto smiled happily as he hugged Kurama's paw. "I knew I could count on you, man." Yes, he had really missed the little blonde rascal. After all, Naruto had changed Kurama's way of thinking about humans. Without the him, he felt like another part of himself was missing. He would have felt empty if Naruto hadn't been here. "I think it's time for you to wake up, sir," Kurama said with a smile, making a confused Naruto raise an eyebrow. "Your little girl must be very worried," Kurama exclaimed in an overly dramatic tone. "What the hell are you talking about?" Naruto asked confused. He wasn't surprised that Kurama knew about Rias. The fox had probably seen everything that had happened since Naruto, Madara and Itachi landed in this different dimension. "You'll see when you wake up," Kurama said, his smile still on his face. "Now go away." Naruto groaned as the sun hit his face. How I hated that window. He tried to move, but was stopped by the familiar sensation of something weighing on his body. Naruto looked down to see a naked and extremely satisfied Rias fast asleep, her head on her chest and her arms wrapped around him. Ah, so this was what Kurama meant. Naruto smiled slightly seeing Rias. He reached out and wrapped an arm around Rias' waist and began to slowly stroke her hair with his free hand. She had never felt like this before. Yes, of course, he'd felt something like that when he'd met his parents inside the seal, but this was different. Was this how he felt to be loved by another person? Someone who had no connection to you other than their loving feelings for you? How romantic. Naruto narrowed his eyes as he looked away from Rias' sleeping form and at Madara, who was watching him with a dry look on his face. "Why didn't you tell me about Kurama?" Naruto hissed, making sure to keep his voice low so as not to wake Rias. "Were those training sessions nothing but protection to keep Kurama away from me?" What hurt Naruto the most was that training with Madara had actually helped him. He felt like he was getting stronger and really making progress with the Uchiha. They often made small talk after their training was over. Madara would tell Naruto about the time they just found Konoha. Although Madara mainly complained about old problems and disliking Naidem and Mito, the former head of the Uzumaki clan, Naruto still greatly appreciated his stories about his old village. He began to see Madara in a new light, not constantly looking at him as if he was a manipulative monster who wanted to trap the whole world in an illusion. "I didn't see any reason either," Madara said with a shrug. Normally, Naruto would have already made a few sarcastic comments, but he remained silent. "I knew that the fox would eventually come to you on its own, and if I told you, you probably would have pestered me constantly," Madara said in an annoyed tone. Naruto just grunted, not getting into further discussion. Arguing with Madara would get him nowhere. They were silent for a while, Naruto still stroking Rias' hair while Madara just looked at him, his expression between amusement and disgust. "Plans are going pretty well, aren't they?" Madara said, deciding to break the silence. Naruto just chuckled softly. "And here I thought you were someone who liked silence. But yeah, so far it's been good," Naruto answered. Madara nodded, his ghostly form floating towards the window. "What do you plan to do with the Devil Boy after you conclude your business with Kokebeel?" Madara asked. The sunbeams stopped in front of his ghostly aura. Naruto frowned slightly, he realized Madara was referring to Yuto. "He'll be a spy for now. I can't just walk into the underworld and start chatting with demons, though Sirzek probably won't mind. He will basically investigate business I can't interfere in regarding demons." Naruto explained. Madara murmured his approval. "And the other boy?" "The one holding the sacred gear. If Azazel was right about him, we need to hold him off," Madara said as he waved his hand, as if to help drive the point. Naruto's frown deepened. "I know," Naruto said with a sigh. "I'll focus on him after I'm done with Kokebeel." Madara's eyes narrowed as he noticed that Naruto had lost some of the enthusiasm he'd shown when they'd talked about their plans earlier. "Something is wrong with you," Madara said as he walked away from the window. The sun's rays still shone through his body, amplifying his ghostly appearance. "I just don't want to mess things up with Rias. Peerage now, Maddie-chan," Naruto said with a slight sigh as he looked into Rias's face, a small smile playing on his lips. Madara moaned in frustration. "That's exactly what I meant." Madara looked angry. "A few days ago you didn't have a single problem using that Yuto boy as a tool to clean up the trash. But now that you're suddenly in a relationship with this woman," Madara said the word in disgust rolling across his tongue. "You can't hurt a fly. Frankly, I don't like you acting like an innocent schoolboy in love. You should be a monster, not a pacifist who embraces the devil." "I'm not a monster," Naruto hissed. "We've already talked about it, Madara. We both want to achieve peace in this world, but I won't kill everything without problems. I understand killing is sometimes necessary, but I'm not going to become a homicidal maniac." Madara snorted, not satisfied with Naruto's perfunctory response. "I'm telling you boy, it's all about getting too attached to these girls. You had no problem killing that fallen angel a long time ago, because you weren't involved with these demons. You seem to misunderstand me too, Naruto. In worlds like these, where supernatural beings are constantly at war and where people profit from killing, it's not about who's a monster and who's not," Madara laughed to himself. Then she smiled at Naruto. The smile puzzled Naruto, it was hardly a happy smile. "It's about who is the biggest monster of them all." Madara disappeared, letting the sun shine on Naruto's face again. Naruto tightened his grip on Rias. Was what Madara said true? Sometimes he killed without a problem, and sometimes he couldn't even think about killing someone. It was as if his entire psyche was changing. A small moan caught Naruto's attention. Naruto looked down at his chest to see Rias yawning, his eyes slowly widening. Rias turned her head so that she could meet Naruto's eyes and smiled at him softly. "Good morning, Naruto-kun," she said as she ran a hand over Naruto's chest. Naruto returned a small smile. "How did you get in here?" The question wasn't filled with suspicion, anger, or annoyance. In fact, it didn't sound like a question at all. Naruto probably didn't even care how Rias got into his room, he just felt the need to ask. Rias laughed softly. Damn, his laugh was really good. Naruto had never observed these little details about Rias before, but he sure loved them all. "Mere curls are nothing to me, honey. A little simple evil magic and I was in," Rias explained with a playful smile. Naruto just chuckled to himself. He had to get some magic-resistant locks if he was going to get any sleep. "Naruto-kun, I'm so sorry for Issei's behavior last night." Rias apologized with a frown. She was about to continue apologizing, but was interrupted by Naruto, who had placed his fingers on her forehead, trying to separate her eyebrows slightly. Rias blushed slightly at the touch. "Don't frown. It doesn't suit you," Naruto said. It came out more like an order. Confusion appeared on Rias's face. "There is no need to apologize for the pervert's actions. He probably feels bad now," Naruto said with a shrug. However, Rias was still confused. "So your accusations don't even bother you?" Rias asked, surprised. If someone had accused her of something like that, she wouldn't have been happy. The answer she got from Naruto was a short, curt, "No. Why should I care if I know these are just false accusations?" Naruto said with a small smile. He was such a beautiful liar. Rias was honestly surprised. Naruto didn't seem to hold a grudge and generally didn't seem to care at all what other people thought of him. He made me admire him more, I wanted more from him. "I think it's time for us to lift ourselves up," Naruto said as he sat up straight, pulling Rias with him. "We wouldn't want Itachi to wake us up," Naruto murmured. Rias chuckled softly as she rose from the bed, revealing her body in all his naked glory. She struck a pose and looked at Naruto with a seductive smile. "Do you like what you see, Naruto-kun?" Naruto's face flushed, but he couldn't take his eyes off Rias' beautiful figure. "See, of course," he replied in a trembling voice. Rias just laughed as the two began to dress. Once they were done, the two went into the kitchen and saw Itachi dressed in his trademark Dawn Organization apron, cooking frantically. "Good morning, lovebirds," Itachi greeted them quickly, never taking his eyes off the stove. "Sup Ni-san, good morning Itachi-san." The two answered and sat down at the table. Itachi turned his head slightly so he could look at Rias and Naruto. Apparently, they didn't seem to be affected by his jokes anymore. Itachi smiled pleased, deciding to take a leap in quality. "Yuma should join us any minute," Itachi commented nonchalantly, his smile remaining invisible. Naruto paled considerably and Rias gave him a questioning look. "Yuma?" "Good morning," he rang out a cheerful voice. Rias turned and jumped off his seat as Rainier entered the kitchen. Rias looked at Rainier, who looked shocked at first, but quickly looked confused after a Sharingan-empowered death stare from Naruto. "You?" Rias yelled. "Me?" Rainier asked, pointing to herself. "What are you doing here?" Rias was about to continue the assault on her, but Naruto stopped her by grabbing her shoulders. "You should calm down, Rias-chan." Naruto spoke in a reassuring tone. "This is Yuma-chan. I found her on the street. She was injured and lost her memory. I accepted her and no, nothing happens between us." Rias frowned. The last time she saw Rainier was when Madera stole Asia's sacred gear. She didn't seem dangerous at the moment, but Rias still had his suspicions about her. After all, the woman had been or was still a fallen angel. Maybe Madara betrayed her and did this to her, thought Rias. Then he sat down again, much to Naruto's relief. Rainier also sat down, facing Naruto. While Rias no longer seemed concerned about Yuma killing everyone with a light spear, she was concerned about something else. The kitchen remained eerily silent, the only sound coming from Itachi's cooking. Soon Itachi put a few plates of scrambled eggs and bacon on the table. Itachi nodded to himself as he sat down next to Rainier, observing the rather tense situation. "Ni-san, can I talk to you after breakfast?" Naruto asked, breaking the silence. Itachi nodded silently and started eating. No one said another word as breakfast passed uneventfully apart from Rias and Rainier, who exchanged the occasional glance. Rias got up from the table and pulled Naruto up rather clumsily. She wrapped her arms around Naruto's neck and brought her face closer to his. "I'm going to school, Naruto-kun. Now, don't you dare skip school, you wouldn't play with my feelings like that, would you?" Before Naruto could even say a word, Rias had her lips pressed against his. Naruto had no chance to process anything as Rias continued to kiss him aggressively. Itachi looked quite amused when he saw Rainier get angry at the sight of the couple kissing. Rias then pulled away from the kiss, slapped Naruto's butt and quickly walked away. Naruto just stood there, his eyes wide open and his brain malfunctioning. "Stupid little brother, it looks like your girlfriend spanked you," Itachi commented. "You wanted to talk about something, didn't you?" Naruto nodded weakly and waved in the direction of his bedroom, gesturing for Itachi to follow. The Sharingan brothers entered the bedroom, closing the door behind them. "So, what do you have in mind?" Itachi asked as he sat down on the bed. This was a defining moment for Naruto. He was about to tell Itachi something extremely important, and there was a lot at stake here. If that went wrong, all would be lost. If it worked, life would be much easier for Naruto. "Promise me you won't kill me?" Naruto asked, his tone slightly pleading at him. Itachi's face twitched in confusion. "Kill him? What was it about?" "It can't be that bad, can it?" Looking at Naruto's rather serious expression, Itachi braced himself for the worst. Naruto took a deep breath and spoke slowly. "I'm the guy who plays Madera, it's not the real one." Itachi just looked at Naruto, not blinking or breathing. It seemed that time had frozen. Then he hummed to himself. "I see. That's why the chakra signature looks so familiar," Itachi told himself. Naruto blinked a couple of times. "Aren't you angry? Don't you want to strangle me?" Expected a bigger reaction. It wasn't every day you heard your surrogate little brother play one of the most wanted men in the world. However, Itachi took it as if it were the most normal thing in the world. Itachi shook his head. Naruto just chuckled a bit before lunging at Itachi, grabbing him hard by the shoulders. "What's going on in that sick mind of yours?" Naruto yelled in Itachi's face. "I'm here acting like the biggest idiot in the shinobi world, stealing sacred gear and chilling with evil fallen angels, and you don't even care. What an older brother you are." Itachi chuckled, much to Naruto's frustration. "Actually, I was expecting something like this. Your sudden disappearances may not have been seen by Yuma or the demons, but things like that won't escape me." "So you don't have a problem with that?" Naruto asked slowly. Itachi sighed and shook his head. "You're really stupid, aren't you?" Itachi said, amused, before turning serious again. "I don't like that we have to do things like this to achieve peace, but I can see the need for it. I killed my own family and joined a criminal organization just to keep the peace in our city. I got used to this kind of activity." "So what are you planning with Kokebeel?" Itachi asked. Naruto smirked. "It will be a secret for now. I really have to go to school now." Naruto started activating his Kamui. He was still amazed how Itachi had taken all this so calmly. But apparently Itachi hadn't let go yet because he had narrowed his eyes on Naruto. "I hope you two used protection last night. We can't have any unexpected surprises." Itachi spoke, his voice filled with what could be seen as extreme concern. "You're an idiot." Naruto was walking calmly towards the occult research club room, with Madara floating beside him. Naruto rolled his eyes to the side to look at Madara and felt that familiar pang in his heart again. He realized he felt bitter. He had never felt truly bitter before. He had been depressed, angry, frustrated, but the Amaro was not on the list. He missed his world. Even though there were people here who loved him, whenever Naruto looked at Itachi or Madara, he felt pain. The desire to go back into his world and fix everything, but now it was impossible. Things like his parents' sacrifice, the deaths of the Sandaime, the death of Jiraiya, the war, everything had taken a toll on him now. He must have been drowning in negative feelings then, but he quickly pushed them aside because he knew he could make things right. But now it was all over. His dream of becoming Hokage would never come true. Had all his efforts been in vain in the end? Naruto sighed heavily, deciding not to hold back these feelings for long. "Maddie-chan, you talked about keeping Issei in line this morning. Want to know more?" Naruto asked with a smile. Madara smiled. "Lucky I really care." Madara spoke amused. Naruto tried to snort, but all that came out was a giggle. "We have to limit their actions. We certainly can't allow him to do idiotic things that would endanger the sacred gear." Naruto nodded. Rias would probably be devastated if anything happened to Issei, and that irritated Naruto more than it should. Just the thought of Rias and the pervert having some sort of interaction made him angry. No, he didn't care about Issei. He was worried about the sacred gear, that's all. "So how do you plan to limit it?" Naruto asked, slightly interested. "For the use of a seal," Madara replied. Naruto's interest was now at its peak. Presumably, his clan was famous for their use of seals, but he never got a chance to actually study it. Though Jiraiya had been a master of the art, the subject had never been brought up during the training trip. This would be a great opportunity. I'm talking about the forbidden individual curse, to be more precise. This seal is designed to force certain actions on the one on whom it is placed, preventing him from making his own decisions in critical situations. Madara explained. The stamp is placed directly above the heart. While it may seem like a difficult procedure, I'm sure you'll get through it. Madara brought it up with, well, a wave of his hand. Sounds like a right seal. Naruto said with a small smile on his face. So, can it be removed or stopped by something? The only way to remove the seal is to strike directly at the heart, which also puts one's life at risk. Technically, the only way to effectively remove the seal is to kill the person it is placed upon. Madara explained yet again. Naruto nodded to himself, a small smile on his face. With this he would wrap Issei around his fingers. Naruto entered the club building. This time he decided to go slow instead of entering rudely. He entered the main room and opened the door. Again, everyone was present except Yuto. Rias was sitting behind her desk, Akeno standing next to her. Rias smiled at Naruto. Well, I'm glad you decided to come. Rias said, the smile still on her face. Naruto just smiled at her. Well, I'm a man of my word, even though I haven't really had a chance to say anything, Naruto replied, blushing slightly as he recalled this morning's events. Hey, Kaneko-chan. I brought you some sweets, Naruto said as he walked over to Kaneko and handed her a small bag. Kaneko quickly thanked Naruto and started devouring the bag's contents. Naruto chuckled and sat next to Kaneko, stroking her head. The combination of delicious sweets and amazing pats on the head was too much for Kaneko as she started purring loudly and entered a state of absolute bliss. While Naruto and Kaneko seemed to be enjoying themselves, two other people in the room didn't like the situation at all. Issei and Rias were glaring at the two with daggers. Issei was incredibly jealous that Naruto seemed to have such an easy bond with girls. First Rias, then Akeno and now Kaneko. Rias was also jealous, but for a completely different reason. Naruto's love was reserved only for her, and maybe Itachi could have some now and then, but he wasn't about to share it with anyone. The two were snapped out of their amazement by a giggle from Akeno. Is there anything you find funny, Akeno? Rias asked with her eyes half closed. Akeno simply dismissed her, still laughing. It's nothing, bucko. It's just that I've noticed that the air smells of jealousy. Rias blushed slightly and looked away from Akeno. He shot one last look at Kaneko and Naruto before coughing into his hand, gaining everyone's attention. Time to get to work, she said as she crossed her arms under her breasts. Kaneko, Akeno and I just sent our familiars to find Yuto, Xenovia and Irina. Naruto-kun, there's a good chance we'll meet Madara again. Is there anything we should know? Rias asked Naruto. Naruto crossed his arms and looked up at the ceiling, thinking. Make it sound more dangerous. Madara's real voice echoed from behind Naruto. If they avoid engaging you directly in battle, we can more easily continue our business. Madara explained. Naruto nodded slightly, still staring at the ceiling. Well, prepare to die if you fight him up close. Man is like a tank, he is extremely tough. I would suggest staying away from him and attacking him at long range. Naruto said. It would have been too suspicious if he told them not to fight Madara at all, but Naruto would be able to deal with some long-range attacks. Itachi-san looked great when he faced Madara up close. Issei argued. Naruto just snorted in response, causing Issei to frown slightly. This is because Madara was holding back. If he had done everything, we'd be at Itachi's funeral right now. He likes to prove himself superior to his enemies. He gives them hope and then takes it away by completely destroying everyone. Naruto explained. The real Madara had also used this tactic, and Naruto knew full well the consequences. Test. Oi Naruto, can you hear me? Kurama? Naruto thought. Okay, then you can listen to me. It took a while to re-establish the entire link. Kurama said in an annoyed tone. You remember how this works, right? Just think about talking to me in your head. Yes I know. So what's up? I don't think you wanted to talk to me just for shit and giggles. I felt a powerful presence entering the area right now. In fact, I'm surprised the demons haven't figured it out yet. You have to be careful. Kurama said worried before cutting the mental link. A powerful presence that had suddenly come to Kuo. What could it be? Sorry everyone, I just remembered that I have to do something really important with Itachi. Naruto said quickly as he stood up from the couch. Naruto looked back to see Kaneko tugging at his sleeve. I want more pats on the head later. Naruto smiled and made her thumbs up. Rias narrowed her eyes slightly and decided to quickly divert Naruto's attention away from Kaneko. Now, Naruto-kun. Make sure you answer my calls. There's a good chance we'll need you and Itachi if anything happens. Rias said with a smile, but that smile soon faded when he realized something. Naruto was already gone. Irina-chan. Issei ran quickly towards Irina, who was lying on the ground, her clothes torn and her body bruised. He knelt beside her. Rias's familiar managed to track down Irina and immediately informed Rias. Unfortunately, there was still no sign of Yuto or Xenovia. Since the whole fallen angel problem was a big deal, Sona and a few of her peers had joined Rias and her peers. Who did this to you? Issei asked softly. Irina showed up slightly as she looked at Issei, barely capable of keeping her eyes open. He was too strong. Zenobia and Kiba, they ran away. Irina managed to stammer. Issei cast a pleading look at the others. Asia, ordered Rias. Asia nodded and walked over to Irina and Issei and knelt down too, activating her twilight healing. When Asia started healing Irina's wounds, she suddenly started looking a little worried. It doesn't work, she exclaimed desperately. Her sacred energy has been stolen, I can't cure it. Don't worry, Sona said, raising her glasses. Tsubaki, take Irina to heal her. We can replenish her energy. Ordered Sona to the queen of hers. Tsubaki nodded and teleported herself and Irina through a magic circle. Oh, all the dirty devils decided to get together, huh? It will be funny. The demons in question turned their heads to see an all too familiar rogue exorcist step out of the shadows. Released. That's right. Fried exclaimed, his manic smile already plastered on his face. Then he cocked his head as he also recognized a familiar figure. Oh, if it's not the witch. How does it feel to be trash, Asia? Won't you commit suicide now that you've become what God hates the most? Fried asked, his tone full of venom as he looked at Asia. Asia grimaced and hid behind Issei, who was watching Fried. Don't think I'll let you talk to my servants like that, yelled Rias as he stood protectively in front of Issei and Asia. Fried just laughed in response, forcing Rias to squint at the exorcist. Calm down, princess. I didn't come here to bathe in your blood. Well, at least not now. There is someone who would like to speak with you, said Fried, pointing to the sky. The sky itself suddenly darkened, turning purple. A figure descended from the sky. With his pale skin, pointy ears, long black hair, and red eyes, he was quite intimidating. With 10 black wings sprouting from his back, there was no doubt he was a fallen angel. So this must be Kokabeel, Rias murmured. I see that no further introduction is needed, Sirzek's sister and Serafal's sister. Kokabeel spoke with a smile, showing his sharp teeth. Rias narrowed his eyes at the fallen angel. What do you want, Kokabeel? Rias asked. Kokabeel laughed out loud. Oh, how fiery you are. I guess your incompetence runs in the family, that brat Sirzek is like that too. Kokabeel murmured to himself. Rias didn't look amused. Don't you dare talk about my brother like that. Now answer my question. Rias asked. What I want? I want chaos, fight, I want war. Kokabeel exclaimed, making the demons jump in horror. If I kill you, I'm sure Serafal and Sirzek will make a grand entrance. And with the holder of the holy sword as well, I'm sure Michael will have to crawl down from the clouds as well. Kokabeel continued to explain the grand plan to him. This will surely rekindle the fire of conflict between the three factions, and prove that the fallen angels are the true supreme beings. This time I will be the winner of this new great war, shouted Kokabeel, spreading his arms. You're crazy, Issei yelled. He quickly activated his power gear, making Kokabeel laugh in amusement. So this is your sacred gear. Let me remind you that I am not like Azazel. Longinus or not, your gauntlet neither interests me nor poses a threat to me. Kokabeel said scornfully. Azazel? The leader of the Gregories? Is he involved in this too? Sona asked, raising her glasses as she looked at Kokabeel. Kokabeel scoffed as a disgusted expression appeared on her face. That lazy bastard wouldn't even dream of such a thing. I got sick and tired of him sitting there waiting for supposed peace from him. He only talks about sacred gears and even allows humans who possess the weakest to join us. If they were strong it would be another story, but they are all rubbish. Since Azazel will never do anything, I thought it was time to take action myself. Kokabeel said to the demons with a mischievous smile. I can't wait to try out all these new toys, Fried yelled with sheer glee as he unzipped his coat, revealing the other Excaliburs. Issei's eyes widened as he recognized Irina's sword. Bastard. You're the one who hurt Irina-chan. Issei bellowed in rage, preparing to attack Fried. Fried just laughed maniacally as his tongue dangled slightly from his mouth. What are you going to do, you piece of shit? Fried sneered. Enough of these games. Kokabeel shushed Fried with a raised hand. Then he smiled mischievously once more and spread his wings. It is time for us to leave for the battlefield. Kokabeel has returned to heaven. Rias's eyes widened as he realized that Kokabeel was flying towards Kuo Academy. Rias, we don't have time to waste. We must protect Kuo Academy at all costs. My peerage will create a barrier so that we can fight Kokabeel without any problems. But what about Fried? Rias asked. He's already escaped. Issei replied through clenched teeth. This was. The decisive battle was about to begin. Oi, you old bastard. How long will this stupid magical thing last? I want to take down some of them evil bitches. Valpier and Fried were standing around what looked like a magic circle. Valpier was combining the 4 pieces of Excalibur into one holy sword. Patience, Liberato. While fusing the blades together as one thing, I also need to make sure the destruction spell is set correctly. Valpier said with a sigh. Fried's psychotic tendencies can be a nuisance at times. So Kokebiel is planning to destroy the city too, huh? Boss. Fried exclaimed happily. Valpier spun around quickly, sweat dripping from his forehead and a terrified look on his face. Madara-sama, he stammered. Madara chuckled as he approached the circle. Hello Fried, Valpier. A glorious day, right? Madara asked casually. Yes, of course. Fried exclaimed, throwing his fist in the air. After this old son of a bitch runs out of magic, I'll finally get a chance to slay some demons. Wonderful. Valpier, I have a question for you. I recently found out that your Holy Sword project was really a success. Would you mind explaining what you have? Asked Madara. Of course, Madara-sama. Valpier quickly agreed as he began rummaging through his clothes. He smiled as he pulled out a small blue crystal and showed it to Madara. This is the final result of my project. As you may know, the requirement to wield a holy sword is that the wielder must have a large amount of light attributes within their body. I removed the light attribute from the test subjects and crystallized it so that anyone could gain the ability to wield Excalibur. Valpier explained, with that mischievous smile still on his face. Naruto narrowed his eyes under the mask. God, this man reminded him of Orochimaru, and he didn't like Orochimaru at all. But it would all be over soon, so there were no worries. Madara snatched the crystal from Valpier's hands. Valpier was about to protest, but shock quickly stopped his need to protest when he saw what Madara did. She shattered the crystal and absorbed the light attribute into her body. Madara chuckled as he felt the golden energy flowing through his body. Fried looked quite happy while Valpier looked absolutely terrified. This looks refreshing, Madara said with a satisfied sigh. At the same moment, a ray of light shot up into the sky from the magic circle. Madara walked over to the now fused Excalibur floating in the middle of the magic circle. She grabbed him and landed a few experimental blows. The funny thing was that Naruto had never used a sword in his life. But it feels so natural. As if he had held a sword from the moment he was born. I appreciate the effort you put into all of this, Valpier. Madara thanked Valpier. I hope hell has mercy on you. Before Valpier could even say anything, Madara had chopped off his head with the molten Excalibur. Fried laughed maniacally as he kicked Valpier's head and used it like a ball. After Fried enjoyed it, Madara used Kamui to suck Valpier's head and corpse back into his own dimension. He then turned back to Fried, idly swinging the molten Excalibur. So what do you say, Fried? Do you want to try this blade? Issei growled as he dodged a fireball thrown by Kokebiel's summoned Cerberus. Apparently, Kokebiel still didn't want to fight them, so he had brought his throne and was now watching the demons fight the three-headed beasts. However, there was still a silver lining to all of this. Yuto and Xenovia had joined the fight. Just as the Cerberus was about to shoot another fireball at Issei, Kaneko appeared and slammed the beast's head very hard, instantly defeating it. Issei quickly thanked Kaneko, who seemed to ignore him. There was still a second Cerberus walking around here somewhere. Bucko, watch out! Issei yelled. Rias turned to see the Cerberus standing behind her, mouth open and ready to devour her. Rias's eyes widened. She wouldn't have enough time to activate his destruction power. Fortunately for her, her savior was just around the corner. Dynamic entry in an instant, someone kicked Cerberus, eliminating him. The figure did a graceful somersault in the air and landed on the ground. The figure turned and smiled at Rias. I came to save my damsel in distress. Rias shook her head at Naruto's words, a small smile on his lips. Kokebiel laughed as he threw the ball, destroying one of the school buildings. He kept laughing as he saw the desperate looks on the demons' faces. He then resumed his battle against Naruto, chakra against light. Compared to these demons, you are incredibly powerful. Kokebiel commented. You have those eyes too, maybe you'd like to join me, boy? Kokebiel offered. Naruto just laughed, much to Kokebiel's confusion. I'm sorry, but I'm more than happy to work with these demons. Naruto replied. Kokebiel narrowed his eyes but smiled nonetheless. I see. But since our battle has been fun so far, I will grant you the most merciful death. Kokebiel then began swinging his lightsaber wildly and hurled occasional spears of light in between his moves. Naruto dodged the sword thrusts and used his Susanoo's skeletal arm to deflect the spears of light. However, Naruto's focus wasn't on Kokebiel. Apparently, Fried wasn't doing too well against Yuto and Xenovia. Fried had decided to taunt Yuto to the extreme by telling him that the souls of his friends had been consumed, which Naruto didn't know when he had absorbed the light attribute crystal, and told him that Yuto's revenge would never be been possible. Understood. However, this only hardened Yuto's resolve and caused him to activate something called a balance breaker, the final activation state of a sacred gear. Yuto's balance breaker allowed him to create a demonic holy sword. This sword combined with Xenovia's Durandal surpassed Fried. Naruto sighed. Apparently I already had to interfere. Suddenly, a flock of crows surrounded Freed. More and more crows began to fly around him, pecking at him. Within seconds, Freed and Excalibur were gone and all that was left was a small pool of blood. Is he dead? Yuto asked in shock. All of this had happened so suddenly. Where do those crows come from? They felt familiar, even Excalibur is gone. Added Zenobia in a low voice. Had those birds also destroyed the holy sword? What kind of witchcraft was that? Zenobia and Yuto quickly recovered and joined the others against Kokabeel. Naruto withdrew, stating that he was a bit tired. Luckily for him, no one yet knew of his extreme stamina and large chakra reserves, so he was able to get away with it. After all, it had kept Kokabeel busy most of the time. Naruto turned his head slightly, his gaze lingering on the roof of the main building of Kuo Academy. Naruto smiled at Itachi who was standing on the roof. Itachi smiled and quickly disappeared too. Naruto and Itachi had come up with a pretty clever plan. Since Excalibur could be useful in the future, Itachi decided to stay in the shadows and cast a genjutsu, making it appear that Freed and Excalibur were destroyed by these mysterious crows. The genjutsu itself was really just a cover. While the genjutsu was active, Itachi walked towards Freed and used a shunshin to quickly carry the exorcist and Excalibur to safety. Tell me, child. Kokabeel turned to Zenobia. Why are you fighting for a dead lord? He asked, earning a confused look from the girl. What are you talking about, fallen angel? Zenobia asked suspiciously. Kokabeel just laughed and put a hand to his mouth. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Kokabeel said to himself, amused. But I'll tell you what I'm talking about. During the Great War, the original Big Four Satans weren't the only significant people to die. A crazy smile appeared on Kokabeel's face as he spread his arms. Even God is dead. Everyone was shocked to the core. Well, everyone except Naruto didn't really care. But was God dead? How was this possible? Stop lying, you filth. Zenobia yelled, her body shaking slightly. I can still feel his presence right now. Zenovia's statement made Kokabeel laugh even more. After the Great War, the faction leaders decided to keep God's death a secret so that there would be no stories. That presence you feel is that bastard Michael acting like he's a god. Without God, no one can stop me. Kokabeel explained, pleased to see Zenovia's world slowly crumble. Do you really think that my brother and the other Satan won't take any action against you? Rias asked with her eyes half closed. Say-oh. Searsex and his little friends are nothing compared to the original Satans. Searsex is weak, afraid to take any action just like Azazel. Lucifer was a monster, a tyrant who ruled the underworld with an iron fist. Searsex will never be at his level, Kokabeel spat, forcing Rias to look at him with all his hatred. No one insulted his brother like that and got away with it. No, I have come for you. Madara Uchiha, or Uzumaki Naruto. Or whatever you want me to call you, he answered the boy stoically. This set off alarm bells in Naruto's head, and everything was so perfect seconds ago. How do you know all this? Who the hell are you? Naruto asked with his eyes narrowed. I am Ophis. Ouroboros dragon. The dragon god of infinity. Ophis introduced herself. However, Naruto didn't look convinced. Ah. How dumb do you think I am? There is no way such a pretty girl like you could be a dragon god. Naruto exclaimed, laughing at how stupid he sounded. His laughter stopped when he saw that Ophis looked completely serious. Wait, are you really a dragon? Ophis nodded. Yes. I want you to help me. Naruto frowned. So this must be the powerful presence that Kurama mentioned earlier. As he watched the girl, he remembered some wise words Itachi had once said to him while they were relaxing in the apartment. It is unwise to judge others based on their preconceptions and appearances. Naruto understood perfectly well that this could very well be some kind of majestic dragon god. He already had enough problems with the supernatural world and didn't want to add more problems to the list. Very good, Ophis. Why do you need my help? Naruto asked. I want my silence back. Ophis answered Naruto's question. Naruto cocked his head in confusion. Take back your silence. Naruto repeated. What do you mean by that? Great Red stole my silence, and I want it back. Ophis explained, even though it wasn't clear to Naruto yet. The Great Red? So you want your silence back from this red guy? Naruto concluded, making Ophis nod in affirmation. Naruto just shrugged. Sure. I think I can help you with that. Naruto said casually. It would be unwise to try to go against this girl if she really is this dragon god of infinity. If only Naruto knew what he got himself into. So that was all you want, Ophis? I have to go home now. Naruto said, hoping he wouldn't have to suffer Rias' wrath. His waifu would probably destroy his own waifu. I'm interested in you. Ophis said, her impassive gaze showing not a hint of emotion. Naruto chuckled, making Ophis tilt his head a little. Curiosity is what killed the cat, Ophis. Naruto said, a small smile on her face. Ophis really didn't seem happy with the answer. How can curiosity kill a cat? She asked. Naruto frowned at the stupidity of the question. It's an expression, don't take it too seriously. But now I really have to go. See you later, Ophis. Naruto said with a smile as he gave Ophis 2 fingers and ran away. Ophis only looked at Naruto's form until it disappeared from his sight. I will continue to watch you, Naruto. Naruto sighed in satisfaction as he entered the apartment. He really needed to get some sleep now, as he was incredibly tired that day. Now that his plans with Kokebile were done, he should focus on Valley and Issei. It would certainly be a tiresome job. Sir, I'm afraid you have to leave the house now. Naruto heard Itachi's voice from the living room. Excuse me, Itachi-san? As a Naruto girl, I have every right to be here, Rias retorted. Oh. Are you already abusing your girlfriend rights? Akino's voice echoed. As Naruto entered the living room, Rias hugged him. His head was pressed against his chest. Even though the position was comfortable enough, Naruto was having difficulty breathing. He tried to wriggle free from Rias' grip, but without success. See, Akino? Rias asked with a triumphant smile on her face. Naruto is mine. I already told you, I don't share him. He is mine and mine alone. Itachi buried his face in his hands while Akino just smiled softly. Naruto finally broke free from the embrace, his face slightly red. Damn it, Rias. You don't have to rub it in, and I'm not just talking about what you just did to your breasts, yelled Naruto. Naruto-kun, this time I wanted to talk to you, Itachi said rather seriously. Naruto followed Itachi into the bedroom, leaving the 2 girls alone in the room. As soon as they entered Naruto's room, Itachi took out a rather large box from under the bed. I've never seen that before, Naruto said with a frown. Itachi chuckled softly. That's because you've never been there before. I managed to recreate something very useful, Itachi said as he opened the box. Naruto's eyes widened as he saw what was inside the box. How did you manage to do that? Inside the box was a beautiful gunbai, a war fan used in the past by the Uchiha. Naruto had seen Madara's fight. Do you really know how to use this thing? Naruto asked, not taking his eyes off the gunbai. Itachi nodded in response. Yes, I used it when I was younger. Back when the whole preserving clan history thing was very important to my father. Itachi closed the box and put it under the bed. Then he stood up and gave Naruto a small smile. Our first training session will be tomorrow. I suggest you go to sleep now so you'll be well rested the next morning. Good night, little brother, Itachi said, walking out of the room. Naruto decided to follow Itachi's advice and immediately put on his night clothes, jumped into his bed and turned off the lights. Not a minute passed and Naruto heard the door open and close. He chuckled slightly when he felt Rias's naked body embrace him. Can you sleep just once? Naruto asked jokingly. There are conditions that must be met for me to sleep well. Rias explained. The first is that I need to be completely naked. And the second one? Naruto asked. I need to be with you, Rias whispered. Naruto wrapped an arm around Rias and pulled her closer. I promise you, Rias. I will never leave you alone. And I never go back on my word. Naruto said softly, but his voice was full of conviction. Rias smiled sweetly and kissed him on the cheek. I'll keep you on that. The two had a casual conversation, as they both realized they weren't going to fall asleep anytime soon. A rather interesting topic came up during their conversation. Class observation day is coming up, Rias said nonchalantly. Naruto hummed. Are your parents coming? He asked. To be honest, Naruto was interested in Rias' parents. They probably had significant status in the underworld, so it would be better for Naruto if he could befriend Rias' parents. If I'm Oni-sama will probably be accompanying him as well. What about your parents, Naruto-kun? They arrived. Rias was also interested in Naruto's parents. In fact, his boyfriend never talked about his family except Itachi. It's a bit difficult for the dead to walk around. Naruto replied with a frown. Rias gasped in shock. I'm sorry, Naruto-kun. If you want to talk about. Don't worry, Naruto cut her off. They're long gone. I don't need to talk about it. We should go to sleep now, Naruto said as he kissed Rias' forehead and closed his eyes. Rias rested her head on Naruto's chest, frowning. She felt really bad. She was in love with this man, yet she knew next to nothing about him. She would delve into his past, she would be the best girlfriend that she would ever be. The two quickly fell asleep in each other's arms, unaware of the riot taking place in Naruto's mind. Kurama and Madara glanced at each other out of the corner of their eyes as they watched the events that happened today. Madara discovered that they could actually both be in Naruto's mindscape at the same time, much to Kurama's dismay. They are so cute together, said Kurama. They really are a perfect match. Madara snorted and crossed his arms. Please, lying to yourself is bad, Fox. It's better if Naruto does not have women. It was funny at first, but I never thought the guy would turn serious. But if I have to choose, I'd rather sleep with that Akeno girl. Kurama looked at Madara as if he were crazy. Akeno? Oh really? Do you choose the sadist? I knew you were crazy, but this one takes the cake. Madara narrowed his eyes at Kurama. Would you rather have it with these spoiled red-haired princes? Do you have anything against redheads? He was sealed inside two of them and they were both extremely kind, even though he felt an imminent hatred for humanity at the time. But never mind, shouted Kurama. Stupid fox. Black hair is always superior. You should take it through your thick skull. The two looked at each other. Rinnegan met slit pupils. And so began the shipping wars. To be continued.
That's it for this podcast. Thanks for listening to this video. If you did enjoy this part of the story, like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more crossover fictions. And thank you all for the help and support, and have a great day.